Expressed by Rodney Monker, his guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2017. All rights are reserved.
The role of a woman in the society is to submit. Birth control are the pills of the devil. Education is so fundamental to the development of a people. I'm murderous. Simple as that. What am I voting for? Voting will change nothing.
Tout le monde haïtien, como ye. God save the Queen.
Broadcasting live from ILTV Studios here in Nassau, Bahamas. Welcome once again to Freedom March. My name is Rodney Monker. I'm a Justice of the Peace here in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And of course, I'm a member of the local Catholic Church Christian community. Yesterday, I failed to tell you that the Negro athlete, Shawnee's, let me check her name, Shawnee Miller Ubo or Unibo, she won another gold. So that is great news. And as you are aware, in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, I am the leader of the Woman Dam. So I want to salute that lady, and we're proud of her. Shawnee Miller Unibo, a gold winner. And then, of course, today I began to build a case against the Attorney General Carl Bethel QC. I'm going to show you how Carl is full of conflict of interest. I'm going to slowly build the case against him because he may think that I am not in possession of the records, but I am. And so slowly we shall build a case against this QC. Carl, we shall show how you are conflicted. And you went to London. And in London, you should have been taught the system. So we look at it. We will also go back to the appointment of an acting Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. You would recall, I think it was the 21st or the 22nd of December 2016, that the then Chief Justice, Sir Hartman Longley, demitted office. And a day later, he was sworn in as President of the Court of Appeal. And we had no Chief Justice because Sir Hartman was the Chief Justice. But an incompetent Prime Minister, advised by an equally conflicted Attorney General, appointed Senior Justice Stephen Isaac as acting Chief Justice. And I questioned it then, and I wanted to know what this is they were doing. Well, folks, in Jamaica, a similar Negro leader has made the same mistake. And I shall be focusing on the big row in Jamaica, because essentially the Bahamas and Jamaica are both members of the British Commonwealth. And so it appears that these Negroes are not educated in the British Convention. Today, I shall play teaching them the convention. This is Freedom March. I'll be right back after the break. Fix your clock, man. Fix your clock.
Freedom March with Rodney Monker will be right back after this. This is Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live on ILTV Studios here in Nassau, Bahamas. My name is Rodney Monker, and of course, my spiritual advisor will join me in the other segment. And then, of course, at 5 o'clock, I'm going to have a bishop who will join me in the final hour. Well, folks, yesterday the news was broken that the Olympian Shaunae Miller-Uibo continued to set herself apart from everyone else in Bahamian track and field history. I failed to salute her yesterday, and I have a duty to salute the people them, and particularly the woman them. And so she, according to press report, she is described as a towering Olympic champion, and that she became the first Bahamian to hold 2 world records over the weekend, tying the all-time mark in the 300 meters indoors. Miller was fantastic, tying the 300 meter indoors world record of 35.45 seconds at the 11th NYRR Millrose Games at the New Balance Track and Field Center at the Armory in New York. Miller-Uibo has taken part in the meet in each of the past 3 years, and on Saturday past, she was up a world-class field. It certainly didn't matter to Miller-Uibo as she blew past collegiate rival Ashley Spencer of the United States in the first 100 meter of the race. At that point, Miller-Uibo was significantly ahead of the field and set her sight on the finish line. She powered through the tape, winning easily in 35.45, equaling Russian Irina Privalovan's world mark from 1993. So it's Miller's second world record after setting an all-time best in the 200-meter straight at the Adidas Boost Boston Games last year. She was the third Bahamian to ever set a world record, joining Thomas A. Robertson, who accomplished the feat in the 300 yards, and Donnie Smith, who did it in the 50-yard hurdle. So we salute her. And Shaunae Miller-Uibo, I hope I'm pronouncing her surname correctly. Well, folks, tonight in Angliston, Glenys Hannah Martin is calling her constituency and all Bahamians, including PLPs and FNMs, to come where she and other party officials will address that rally in preparation for Wednesday. That's tomorrow. As you are aware, the House of Assembly meets, and the Speaker, who's obviously a political misogynist, he has come up with some argument as to why he is suspending her, and it is my understanding that he will be inviting the Parliament to determine whether or not there should be a further suspension of this wonderful woman. I call upon the Speaker to man up, stand up, and stop his oppressive tactics. Mr. Speaker, I want you to stop it, you know. All right? If you don't stop it, you can get me mad. So all the people them, I suspect that the rally tonight at Glennis Hanna's Martin Anglican branch should start, goodness me, around 6:30, 7 o'clock. And that's what the PLP got for not sending me the official statement. So I couldn't tell the people the correct time. Well, folks, I want to go to a controversial matter taking place in Jamaica, because we have seen it here in the Bahamas, where on the 22nd of December, 2017, we saw at Government House a interesting judicial maneuver. The then Chief Justice, Sir Hartman Longley, demitted office. If I'm correct, he had about 2 more years to serve as Chief Justice. But the government, led by Dr. Minnis, who is being advised by an Attorney General who's attempting to hide his hands. I don't know why he thinks that he could hide his hands when we are living in a very sophisticated society where those of us can get information on what is taking place. Carl Bettel then got Dr. Minnis to appoint Sir Hartman as President of the Court of Appeal and Senior Justice Stephen Isaac as an acting Chief Justice. This took place, I think, on the 22nd of December 2017. It is interesting to note that Carl Bettel never showed up for the swearing in. Now, I wasn't there, but that is the intelligence that I have received, that Carl Bettel hid. He hid, notwithstanding his arrogance. He, like many of us, suffer from Negro shame. And so he knew that his hand was dirty. He knew what he was doing, and he could not face the man. Now, in Jamaica, a similar thing has taken place. And please remember that shortly after the appointment here in the Bahamas, I criticized it. I raised the question, why appoint Senior Justice Stephen Isaac as an acting Chief Justice when there is no substantive holder of the office? I said it smacks of corruption. See, I'm 61. I know Carl Bettel. You follow? I know him before he became an attorney. I knew him before he went to London. So I know him. And one of the things that I know about Carl is not a saved man. I know that. Now the other brother is saved, but Carl ain't. Lige is saved, but Carl is not. Because I can remember when Carl, committed a small sin. And I know if he prayed for that yet, because God would forgive him, because I have committed big sins, and God has forgiven me. So let us go to Jamaica, because I'm slowly building a case to show that Carl is conflicted. So I'm going to read to you an article so that you may see how hard I have to work. I got to work hard. Because on Sunday, when I met with the former Prime Minister, he threw out a parable to me. I told you all, Papa speaks mystically because Papa knows that I am a mystical man. And Papa told me a situation taking place between Fred Smith and Carl Bettel. And Papa said to me, one of them is a liar. Papa told me. And he didn't say who the liar was. But I immediately knew who Papa meant. So let's go to Jamaica. The independence of the Bahamas judiciary threatened by recent appointment of an acting Chief Justice and a conflicted Attorney General. The Jamaican Gleaner, in its February 2nd, 2018 edition, has reported that a judge of the International Court of Justice, ICJ, J. in The Hague, Netherlands. Jamaica-born Patrick Robertson has joined local members of the legal fraternity in decrying the appointment of Jamaica's new Chief Justice in an acting role by the government. An identical thing that has taken place in the Bahamas, where the F&M government has appointed a Chief Justice in an acting capacity. Now in Jamaica, who is that judge that has become an acting Chief Justice of the High Court? And he is Justice Brian Sykes, that's capital S-Y-K-E-S, was sworn in as acting Chief Justice following Zela Makala's retirement on Wednesday. However, the opposition spokesman on justice, Donna Scott Motley, and the Jamaican Bar Association have since expressed their disapproval of the unprecedented move by the Andrew Holness-led administration. It is to be noted that the Negro Bahamas Bar Association has not opened their mouth. You hear me? They've not opened their mouth. But the Jamaican has always been a person who rebelled against slavery. The Jamaican have always set the pace when it comes to standing up for freedom in the Caribbean, because it was the Jamaican who was sold into Haiti. He was called Dottie Buckman. And when he landed in Haiti, after a couple years, he mobilized the Haitian, Toussaint Louverture, and all of them other freedom fighters. It's the Jamaican. It's a very interesting man in this part of the world. So, in a letter to the editor of the Gleaner, Justice Robinson says the unprecedented move, although not wrong, is close to interfering with the independence of the judiciary as prescribed by the Constitution. It is to be noted, and I hope I'm correct, that the Jamaican Constitution and the Bahamas Constitution are similar. The ICC judge says the appointment of Justice Sykes as acting Chief Justice could be interpreted as the government not having full confidence in his capabilities in the role. So, here we have acting Chief Justice Stephen Isaacs. The arguments that the Jamaican has applied in their case is equally applicable here in the Bahamas, because it can be interpreted as the F&M government not having full confidence in the capabilities in the role as acting Chief Justice of Mr. Stephen Isaacs. Justice Robertson, who is the father, isn't that interesting, of the opposition PNP General Secretary Julian Robinson, argues that in such a situation, the appointment should not have been made. The internationally respected Jamaican judge says the appointment suggests that Justice Sykes is being watched closely by the Prime Minister, and that his appointment is susceptible to being rescinded at any time the government disapproves of the manner in which he discharges his judicial function. That argument of the Jamaicans are equally applicable here in the Bahamas, where we can say that Menace and his sidekick, the Attorney General Carl Bettel, is watching Justice Stephen Isaacs because he's only acting. See, anytime you're acting, you're in the real thing. Remember, I tell you all how I acting as if I'm a journalist, and everybody in the nation know I know journalists, but I play the role. Sometimes, I tell you, I'm acting as an ombudsman. But you all know, I only playing. I ain't the real thing. I don't have the substantive office. After all, the Negroes here are so stupid and incompetent in government that they have not created one, even though they promised it from 1992. So the arguments that the Jamaicans are using to condemn their prime minister for appointing Mr. Seeks as an acting Chief Justice is equally applicable to the Bahamas, but not one member of the Bahamas Bar Association opened their mouth. That tells you that it is not a principled organization. And I don't know what the British was doing with y'all. I can't believe some of y'all been to England. I cannot believe it. Because certainly you Negroes didn't understand what y'all were being taught by the British. So, we're going to look at the letter to the editor that Mr. Robertson wrote. And it goes like this. Dear editor, the appointment of Justice Seeks to act as Chief Justice in a case where there is a clear vacancy is not in the best interest of the country for the following reason. The same argument is to now be applied to Justice Stephen Isaacs. The appointment of a judge to act as Chief Justice of Jamaica is, as far as I have been able to ascertain, without precedent in independent Jamaica, and as far as I have been able to ascertain, also without precedent in the Caribbean, and indeed in the Commonwealth. The unprecedented nature of the appointment does not, of course, necessarily mean that it is wrong, but cogent reasons should be advanced for such action. Same argument is applicable to the Bahamas. The practice of appointing persons to act as judges of the Supreme Court is bad enough, but the appointment of a person to act as Chief Judge until the Governor General is further advised is wholly unacceptable. The holder of that office must be seen as the leader of the judiciary in all aspects of its work. And so, folks, as a quintessentially important branch of the government, the proper functioning of the judiciary is vital for the preservation of democratic governance. I'll be right back to continue this letter. It's a disgrace in Jamaica and in the Bahamas.
Freedom March with Rodney Monker will be right back after this. Expressed by Rodney Monker, his guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2017. All rights are reserved.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live on ILTV Studios here in Nassau, Bahamas. My name is Rodney Monker. Praise the Lord. My spiritual advisor, Bradley Roll, is in the house. Bradley, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great, Mr. Monker. I'm doing great.
Well, my spiritual advisor, prior to you entering the studio, I was complaining over the fact that in the Bahamas, on the 22nd of December, 2017, 22nd of December, 2017, the government of the Bahamas advised Her Excellency, the Governor General, Dame Margaret Pinling, to swear in Sir Hartman Longley as President of the Court of Appeal. Sir Hartman, however, had demitted office as Chief Justice. So there is no holder of Chief Justice. Simultaneously, after his swearing in, the Governor General swore in Mr. Stephen Isaac as the acting Chief Justice. You would recall that I complained about it, arguing that how you could have an acting Chief Justice when there is no substantive holder.
Okay.
A investigation now shows that Carl Bettel, who would have badly advised the Prime Minister, did not even show up to Government House for the swearing in. Inside sources has revealed that Carl hid because his hands are unclean and he need to wash it with his dirty hands. And so in Jamaica, a similar row is taking place where his lordship, may I have the photograph of his lordship, Mr. Six. He was appointed an acting Chief Justice.
Okay.
And you have had a senior Jamaican jurist from the International Court who has condemned it.
Okay.
His son, however, appears to be an opposition spokesman who has written a letter to the editor of the Daily Gleaner. And I have been reading that letter, and I shall continue to read that letter, my spiritual advisor.
Okay. Okay.
So, the letter continues, those responsible for the appointment of Jamaica's chief judge ought to be certain that they have appointed a person who can be relied on to discharge immediately the functions of that high office. If they do not have that certainty, the person should not be appointed at all. Appointment to act as Chief Justice until the Governor General is further advised sends the message of a lack of confidence on the part of the Prime Minister as head of government in the appointee, and indeed in the judiciary as a whole, at a time when we need to shore up confidence in that body as an independent branch of the government. The same argument in Jamaica is applicable to the Bahamas in the case of acting Chief Justice Stephen Isaacs. We in Jamaica have been fortunate to have had a splendid judiciary since independence, with good relations between the executive and the judiciary. Since 1972, I have worked in various international fora on behalf of the Jamaican government, as well as in my own private capacity. I've always been exceedingly proud to trumpet to foreigners the high quality of our judiciary and the independence it enjoys in law and in fact. However, I am afraid that this extraordinary step hints at a budding tension between the executive and the judiciary. This is what Mr. Robertson has written to the Daily Gleaner for appointing Justice Six. When are you going to show me the picture of Justice Six? I just asked the producer to show me Justice Six. Anyway, if you can't find Justice Six, show me any Jamaican then. All right? For appointing Justice Six to act as Chief Justice until the Governor General is further advised. So in the case of Senior Justice Stephen Isaac, who has been appointed as an acting Chief Justice of the Bahamas, he holds that office until Carl Bettel, with a dirty hand, further advise our incompetent Negro Prime Minister to either advance it to the next level, Chief Justice, and or recall him. That is what is taking place. And that is not a healthy thing for the democracy, because judges must be secure. That is why the Constitution makes provision for tenure of services, so that a judge can do and say freely in accordance with the law without fear, because everybody knows that the FNM is spiteful, very, very spiteful. And if you didn't know, Carl Hahn, don't mind Carl Hahn, look nice and white. Carl Hahn is dirty, okay? And the dirtiness of his hand just happens to match his complexion. But it's dirty. And I told him, I'm conducting a forensic investigation because Carl won't put rape on me. All my life, me and the woman live good. Now Carl listen to one strange people who tell him that we are rapists. Carl never sleep in my house. Never. Not even in the front room. And my house small. If Carl was sleeping there, I would know. But now Carl is listening to the Philistines. And we're going to move Carl because I have it. I always knew that Carl was in a conflict, but I like him. See, when he sent for me, he sent for me. I knew he was conflicted. And as I looked upon him, I said, he's conflicted, but I like him. He's a good man. I'm going to help him. And all the legal problems he had, he ain't admit that. When he told me what the other side was doing to him, I said to him, Carl, you're my friend. Give me the documents. I'm going to go there, I'm going to curse them out and solve your problem. Now, after all I've done for him, and I must confess, he's done some good things for me, he won't put rape on me. Carl, don't you know the woman is my woman? Don't you know that that woman is my woman? And I'm going to fight you. I got all your files lined up. I know you don't believe me, but I'm going to show the country that I is a serious man. And I'm going to war. I's a serious man. And serious man don't play. Because I have my mandate, and I shall stand up as a warrior. So, you all have this picture of Justice Sykes. If you can't find Justice Sykes, for heaven's sake, put up acting Chief Justice, what is the name of acting? Stephen Isaac. All right? So, this is what is taking place. And we have to stand up to what they are doing. We have to stand up to it. And in light of the important questions of principle raised by this wholly unprecedented action, it is irrelevant whether Justice Sykes agreed to the appointment to act as Chief Justice. It is similar to the Bahamas. It doesn't matter if Senior Justice Stephen Isaac agrees to act, to play Chief Justice. It doesn't matter. It is wrong because there is no substantive holder of the office. Man, y'all Negroes, Lord, send me some new Negro people to lead me. Look, all them years Carl spent in London. He must have been playing the hooky. Or maybe he was on the London Bridge. Just don't understand it. Come back, don't understand the convention. Same nonsense in the Bahamas. The Jamaicans have done the same thing. All right? Goodness have mercy. So, my brothers and sisters, in light of the foregoing, Mr. Robertson say, I respectfully ask the Honorable Prime Minister to immediately confirm the appointment of Justice Sykes as Chief Justice of Jamaica. I could plagiarize this letter, and I could say the same thing. In light of the foregoing, I respectfully ask the Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Alexander Minnis to appoint Mr. Stephen Isaacs as Chief Justice. Failing to do so, Carl Bettel and Dr. Minnis would have taken an instrument and stabbed or juke. I'm not going to say stab. Juking is more dangerous. They would have juked justice in its most vital parts. They would have stabbed justice in its most vital parts. And anyone who raised an instrument to stab justice in its most vital parts, we have to chop that hand off politically. That is what has taken place here. Same foolishness happening in the Bahamas is now there. And then Mr. Robertson goes on. It is so interesting regarding the conflicted Attorney General. Didn't I tell you before? The Jamaicans just wrote this on the 2nd of February. Their situation just happened Wednesday. But I told you from as early as January that what Minnis had done was improper. Does not even seems to have any foundation in our laws, in our traditions. I told you all that. And I told you that Carl Bettel is a conflicted Attorney General. He is a conflicted Attorney General. The same thing the Jamaicans are saying about their Attorney General. And so, the current Attorney General, applicable to Carl Bettel, prior to being appointed, was the lead attorney for a plaintiff in a still active court case against the government, in which the Attorney General is the listed defendant. In addition, the Attorney General is also the Minister for Legal Affairs. All right? So that is what is taking place here. And so we are beginning to see that the same situation, all right? So in Jamaica, they're having a problem there. And so they want the Prime Minister of Jamaica to make Justice Seeks confirm him as Chief Justice. Now, here in the Bahamas, right? Carl Bettel, all right? And this is what is required, and this is what I trust, that Prime Minister, the Honorable Hubert Minnis, will be guided by the foregoing. This is the case to move Carl Bettel. I want him to be guided by the foregoing regarding this conflicted Attorney General, this current Attorney General. Carl Bettel, prior to being appointed, was the lead attorney for a plaintiff in a still active court case against the government, in which the Attorney General is the listed defendant. In addition, the Attorney General is also the Minister for Legal Affairs, the contracting party with the plaintiff for a scope of work for the judiciary, a clear case of conflict of interest. I hope you all understand what I'm saying. Before Carl became Attorney General, he represented a plaintiff against the Attorney General and the Minister of Legal Affairs. Today, Carl has now emerged as the Attorney General and the Minister of Legal Affairs. Prior to that appointment, he was plaintiff lawyer. Now he has become the defendant, and I accuse him of Allisonism. That's what this is. Carl is guilty of Allisonism. You hear me? And Carl should resign. How the heck you could be my lawyer, go up against the Attorney General, arguing my case, preparing my case, and then all of a sudden, you don't tell the Prime Minister that. You now switch that side. You now is the defendant. You all think I stupid, eh? But I ain't stupid. You all think I stupid, eh? But I ain't stupid. I right there. Just watch him. Huh? How the heck Carl could be on two sides? Huh? How can Carl be on two sides when the dispute involves the judiciary? It's a gangster country. But y'all don't believe it, eh? Take it from me. Carl is plaintiff lawyer, and now Carl is the defendant. Man, it's a sweet game. Man, this is a sweet, sweet game. But I say it's gangsterism. And I say it's wrong. And Carl, if he is worthy of his curly hair and his nice color, and if he is worthy of the education what the British taught him, and one of the first things the British said, avoid the very appearance of corruption. So they got the whole thing compromised. Whole thing compromised. Stephen Isaac is acting Chief Justice, and if he doesn't do what pleases Minnis, that's the perception. Minnis will not be able, Minnis won't confirm his appointment, and he will not have security of tenure. That's gangsterism. Y'all think I stupid, eh? Y'all think I stupid, but I ain't stupid. I trick y'all. Let y'all think I ain't looking at what y'all doing, and I write down the court case, and I wait for y'all with your black self. God forgive me for cursing those few moments ago. But that's what this is. Carl represents the plaintiff against the court. I bet you all didn't know that. I was watching him for years with that case. Every time they leave court, I would secretly go to the court and grab the file because I was always interested in how the judiciary could be the center of a legal dispute while the judiciary is hearing the case against the judiciary. I always loved those kind of what looked like skullduggery to me. And then I watched Carl spit side. He ain't the plaintiff lawyer no more. He has taken on the personification of the Attorney General and the Minister of Legal Affairs. Carl, you lucky. I don't have a party that I control. Other than that, I would have marched into the street and run you wrong Paul L. Adley building. And then when you run onto John F. Kennedy, I would follow you and run you straight down to the F&M headquarters. Just run and then say, fire, burn upon the head of the wicked. Carl, will you repent? Will you go to Minnis and confess your sins? Say to the Prime Minister, Prime Minister, I represented a citizen in a controversial matter involving the Supreme Court, the judiciary. And now, Prime Minister, having been named Attorney General, I have emerged as the plaintiff. And then tell the Prime Minister, since you know what the plaintiff's argument is, as Attorney General, you will jack it up. That's a conflict, Carl. But y'all are honorable men. And y'all got more education than me. And I never went to London to school. You were London trained. But whenever I see the first Englishman I run into, I'm going to curse him out and say, listen, y'all didn't teach these Negroes anything. Because notwithstanding they went to London, they did not learn the convention. Carl, will you come and confess? Come to me and confess. Come, Carl, confess with your ugly self. My spiritual advisor, I've just called the Attorney General ugly. Have I sinned?
Yeah, of course you've said, Mr.
Oh,
Monk. And, you know, the thing is, you know, if the information that you're presenting, right, if the information is correct and the argument against it that you're presenting, Mr. Monk, then of course there seems to be a problem. I mean, obviously, you know. I don't want to get into it because I have not seen the case nor the parties involved. But it is what it is.
You have confidence in me?
Well, you've mentioned it, Mr. Monka.
My spiritual advisor, you have confidence in me?
Yes, I have confidence.
Do you know Carl is a very
but Mr.
powerful
Monka,
man?
you have to see the case and the parties involved.
Which party? I know what's going on.
All right. So if it is what it is, then Mr. Monka, then clearly there's some conflict there. It shouldn't be, but I'm not going to get involved in that.
Okay, my spiritual advisor.
I have no comments on that.
You have no comments?
But remember now, when you get information and you're educating the public or you're giving information out, and there are people who hold particular offices today that are involved, you need to respect these people.
But I do.
Yeah, but you can't be saying certain things. That's
you mean that Carl is ugly?
Yeah, it's not
I
right.
mean
It's not professional.
Physically,
and you're live.
Carl,
you're live on TV, Mr. Monka.
Yes, but
be responsible. You have thousands of people watching you.
You think it's thousands?
Man.
Folks, I don't mean he's ugly
you need
physically.
to pull back on that, man.
Okay?
That's unkind.
I mean he's ugly spiritually.
Well, say that.
I mean, my vocabulary
but say
isn't
that,
big.
Mr. Monka. You
I
leave too many
mean that
things open.
Carl Battle is ugly in terms of his appreciation and understanding and acceptance of the British system, of which he went to London to learn. I learned this in Black Village, marching up and down against Pindon and the PLP. You can imagine if I'd gone to London just once. When I came back, I would have bring the whole of Great Britain with me. But Carl spent all them years and didn't understand this word. CONFLIC. Conflict. And having said that, I wish to shout out to the woman there, to Mrs. Vivian Strawn. Listen, I was happy to see you on Shirley Street. You made my day when you declare that you are one of the women there. And then, of course, Mrs. Agatha Delancey. I was so excited when your two daughters, Kimberly and Monique Campbell, both introduced me to you, and they declare that Mama and them are one of the women there. And when Kimberly said it, I felt a sweet, sweet song in my head, and I said, Lord, I thank you that thousands of women in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas has rejected Sandra Dane Patterson and that bigoted Jamaican woman, Donna Nichols. And they have rejected Marion Forbes from Cedar, and they've accepted a low citizen, one of the man them. And I promise to lead you all safely away from gender equality and to encourage you to submit to the good man in your life. But if he ain't no good, kick him, divorce him, or go home to your parents. But I'm so happy. And then I want to salute all the women them at Bahama. I didn't know that all them women at Bahama are one of the women them. And so I salute particularly the Brady Lynch Department. Lord, I thank you for the woman them. And then I salute Turan Miller, one of the supervisor at Bahama. And of course, Sean Brown. And listen, Bahama staff, I have been surveying the tourists them. And let me tell you something. I don't know what you all doing with the American tourists, but all they've been doing all of Saturday and Sunday is giving Bahama A1. You hear me? A+. And they were saluting the staff. I mean, it was powerful. They said there's only one thing they want Bahama to do now is to introduce some theme park for the children there. So that is what is taking place here. This is Freedom March. Carl Battle, the Attorney General, is not safe. He's nothing but a picky teeth Pantobi. He's nothing but a frying pan. He lucky I don't put black collie on him, but that would be a sin and against the law. So I'm not going to do that. Carl, you better resign, because I'm coming after you.
Freedom March with Rodney Monker will be right back after this. Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live on ILTV Studios here in Nassau, Bahamas. We began the show by comparing what took place here in the Bahamas on the 22nd of December 2017, when Attorney General Carl Bettel advised the Prime Minister to do something that was foolish. And a similar thing took place in Jamaica last week. And the Jamaicans are upset about it. But in the Bahamas, we have over 1,000 lawyers. And not one of them, not one member of the Bahamas Bar Association condemned the fact that Menace, acting on the advice of Attorney General Carl Bettel, has created an impression that the government, the executive branch, is watching an acting Chief Justice. Man, you all lawyers or something? You all are professionally immoral. It's a similar thing you all did when you all allow the government to prevent the treasurer from accepting stamp taxes and paid it out to the wrong department, Inland Revenue. Not one lawyer opened their mouth. I mean, what this is? You think if you open your mouth, Mr. Isaac will be offended and may not rule against you? Come on, blessed are the pure in heart, my spiritual advisor, for they shall
See God.
come. The lawyers, didn't Jesus criticize them?
Yep.
What did he say about these lawyers?
He did. He did criticize the teachers of the law.
I mean,
Because
it's
the
amazing.
thing is with the
Go
teachers
ahead.
of the law is that they would tell you to do something, right? And then they turn around and do something else. So they were very hypocritical in the way they lived their lifestyle. You know, they spoke one thing, but they lived something totally different.
No one opened their mouth and say to Carl Bettel, you're going to send him an email. Carl, this is stupid. Why did you tell Menace that? Don't you know Menace, the Prime Minister, is ignorant of the law? And then Carl doesn't go to Government House
For the swearing in.
for the swearing in. He did not. Carl, you're not going to be the Chief Justice,
He
okay?
couldn't make it, you think?
Huh?
He couldn't make it?
He duck. Don't forget now.
How do you know that, though?
Because Carl is F&M and I is
He
F&M.
duck.
Don't forget.
He may have had an excuse.
No, sir. I'm an F&M. And every
Are
F&M
you?
knows. Of
you
course.
You an F&M?
Financial for about 2 to 3
you,
years.
You hit the F&M every day.
I made
On
a
your show.
My spiritual advisor.
You're more PLP than anybody else in this country.
No. More than Papa?
You are PLP, my friend.
Or the main Papa, who you think is more PLP?
You are.
You think so?
Well,
Papa!
you and Papa fighting a tight race because you know that's Perry boy. Him and Perry like two peas.
No, they're brothers. They're Sir Lyndon sons. And Brave Davis is the last child. So,
interesting.
that's what's taking place in the Bahamas. I mean, it's just terrible. These lawyers, they wouldn't open their mouth. You see, it's a bad appointment. Don't mind Justice Stephen Isaac doesn't say anything. He has to act with a certain level of decorum and professionalism. And he recognized the importance of the judiciary. But all them whitelist people who was in charge of the Bahamas Bar Association, not one opened their mouth publicly. Y'all are disgraceful. Say y'all is lawyer. What kind of lawyer? Y'all ain't understand the convention. Them poor white people in England, they must have had hard time teaching y'all the law. No wonder some of y'all don't know what the word Habenda meant. No wonder some of y'all don't know what buck is shitty. They don't know. Yeah. Anyway, let me leave it alone. It's only going to stress me out. You all check to see if my guests come? Keep checking. My spiritual advisor, what is the next thing? Carl is so conflicted. Well, folks, have you heard that Alison Maynard might be in South Africa? That's right. Our former Attorney General. Did you see the story on Bahama Press? They said that former Attorney General and Queen's Counsel Alison Maynard Gibson joins the People's Tribunal in Johannesburg, South Africa. The allegation, Durban, the allegations of state capture and economic crimes committed in the country before and after democracy in 1994 are coming under scrutiny at the high-powered People's Tribunal on Economic Crime, which got underway at Constitution Hill in Johannesburg. And it says yesterday, the tribunal aims to join the dots in the country's story of state capture and plunder, organized by Open Secrets, Corruption Watch, Right to Know, and the Public Affairs Research Institute. The tribunal comprises 5 days of public hearings into corruption and economic crimes over the past 40 years. Among the adjudicators of the tribunal are former Justice of the Constitutional Court, Zach Yacob, former United Nations High Commissioner, Navi Pillay, Dinga Sikivibu, Mandisa Dayantye, Yasmin Suka, and Alison Maynard Gibson. Yacob said, while the tribunal had no power to prosecute, its findings would be submitted to government. If nothing was done, private prosecution would be considered where necessary, he said. Yacob was among the people who called for President Jacob Zuma to step down amid allegations of state capture by members of the Gupta family, who are reported to have close links to Zuma and his son Dud Zwin, or Du Zwin. Besides looking at recent allegations of state capture, the tribunal will be examining state corruption predating democracy in South Africa. People expecting to give evidence at the tribunal include the author of Apartheid, Guns and Money, A Tale of Profit, Henny van Uren. His book, released last year, lifted the lid on the underhand dealings of the apartheid government, amounting to billions of rands, that must be billions of dollars, and how the international criminal conspiracy was set up to enable the apartheid state to buy guns and other weapons. The book also revealed that Arms Corps, then State Arms Company, now Denel, had 844 bank accounts in 196 banks in at least 27 countries, the majority in Europe. Yacob said, we will be looking into operations of Arms Corps and the collaboration of government during apartheid of a whole range of improper transactions. It is very important for the public to know what really happened, and it is very important for government to take steps against those who are implicated. So it is good news to know that Alison Maynard will be in South Africa on a tribunal investigating economic crimes. And I wish her well in the motherland. And who knows what their findings will be. I just thought I had to say that. My spiritual
man.
advisor, certainly it is a major elevation
Of course.
for our former Attorney General.
South Africa, Johannesburg.
Yeah, it's powerful.
Absolutely.
Yes, it is. Well, what do we have here? The government on Friday filed an urgent appeal against Justice Gregory Hilton's landmark ruling on Bahamas-born deportee John Ronnie John Charles, making its case that the administration of good governance could be significantly affected. And this story is written by the Negro reporter Eva Turnquest and Nico Scavala. Well, we know what has happened yesterday. You must have seen the newspaper. You must have heard the news, right? That John Ronnie John Charles is a free man, and the case comes to court. Now, I received a complaint from a Negro man who has the surname Bonner B. And he has accused me of being pro-Haitian. And I asked him what he meant by that. And he attempted to give me an explanation. I said, listen, I am pro-Haitian, I must confess. And I want you, Bonner B, to know that I love the Haitians. And I want justice for them. I said, the Bible teaches us that we must treat strangers in our gate good. John Ronnie John Charles is not a stranger. He's been in the country for 35 years. Whatever his failing to do or not to do, we will have to help him. And then I said to Bonner B, spell your name for me. And he did. And as he began to spell, I stopped him. I said, bon? I said, do you know that's good? Ami? I said, that's French. I said, you are the descendants of Haitian. Go find me somebody else who doesn't have this name to complain to me. Bon ami, good French, all of the Bonnaby, starting from Commissioner Police, the late, what was the Commissioner of Police name?
That's Bonamy.
You don't remember the name?
Yes, I'm trying to remember.
Come on, my
his name
spiritual
right
advisor.
now.
He had a brother named Prince.
Yeah.
He was trained in agriculture.
Oh, what's the former commissioner of police?
They're from Cat Island.
Right.
Remember I told you
Lived in Rockcrusher or something?
that the slave register show.
PK Bonamy.
What does the B stand for?
Bernard.
And what is the K for? Bernard K. Bonnaby,
PK Bonamy.
Cat Island. All of them are descendants of Haitian. You hear me? So y'all stop this stupidness. All right? You can't beat me if you come with that kind of surname. Find me another surname and then come and talk to me. All I want is a peaceful society where the rule of law prevails. And listen to me. Listen to me. The Haitian people, their children, and all of us who are the descendants, whether or not we know it, will be in the Bahamas until Jesus returns. Let me tell it to you. This is not a prophecy. It's only a common sense. All right? And let us stop being stupid. And let us organize properly. Those who were born in the Bahamas, quickly give them citizenship. I tell you all everything that Hubert Ingram has told me, you know. Papa told me of certain strategies that can be done. I have deliberately withhold some of the solution that Papa has given me. Because I have my agenda. You think I ain't got no agenda when I sit down with Mr. Ingram? I got my agenda. All the things he tells me, I use them based on my agenda. Papa's given a wonderful solution, but I don't want that apply. I don't want that one apply, but it's a wonderful solution. So I withhold that for the time being. Because all Papa told me all kind of things. Listen to me. The Right Honorable Hubert Alexander Ingram told me how his government negotiated with Haiti, and the Haitian government agreed to do what no other government would do, what they couldn't get the Cuban government to do. In Cuba, you say you got one Cuban, you want repatriate, the Cubans ask you, wait a minute now, what evidence you have this man is from Cuba? We, with our stupid self, say his name is, give me a Cuban name, my spiritual advisor.
Garcia.
Garcia.
Garcia. Mhm.
Jose.
Jose Garcia.
And the Cubans say, man, that's a Spanish name. We want evidence this is a citizen. And I'll tell you this. When the Bahamas sat down to negotiate an agreement, there was an educated man at the table. He did not speak Spanish, but because of his education, when the Cubans began to use a word, this is the way I'm going to pronounce it, deport something, right? And he turned to an expert and said, what is the Cuban government saying? Because I'm hearing the word deportation. Because the Cuban were out to maneuver the Bahamas. Because the Cubans recognize that there's a difference between deportation and repatriation. You hear me? Because the Cubans had a good lawyer in the Bahamas for many years. And that lawyer is a top-class lawyer. You all know him? I can call his name once because he's threatening to catch me and sue me. Henry Bostwick QC has always been the lawyer of the Cubans. And he teach, let me tell you, if you're looking for a law professor, Henry Bostwick is the fella. But that Bahamian man, having gotten a proper translation, and I will say no more, because this story is so sweet that I feel like just calling everybody names, but I ain't gonna do it. All right? But the Cubans recognize the difference between repatriation. But the Haitian agreed, we'll accept them. Then after a while, the Haitians said, how we can get them from Port-au-Prince to Cape Haitien? You're going to have to pay for the transportation. So we start to give them $100 per person. Once we repatriated them, then there was little allegation that the people them might not have been getting the $100. You heard me? All kind of things. Listen to me. I got the F&M on this one, you know, because Papa was having a wonderful time explaining the law to me. And in the course of talking to me, Papa told me high-level secrets. You hear me? Watch out for me. And when I left Papa, I was so well educated that I could pursue some of these wicked people in our party. I ain't gonna say no more because I don't want them to hate Papa. Papa's a good man. So that's what's taking place here. And it's a good day for democracy. Please love the Haitian people. They're wonderful. They're the only black people on the face of God's earth who has no problem waiting for a black man, working for a black man. They ain't got a problem with that. They have no problem with that because they know that we are one people. You watch the Haitian. He's a proud African. He has no problem in working for another black man. And I'm going to tell you why we have had no earthquake in the Bahamas in the last 300 years. Although many of you might not know that Crooked Island is shake every now and then. We have had no earthquake. We have had no devastation because we have been good to our brothers, the Haitian people. And I prophesied that the day that we get rid of all of them and treat them in a horrible way, we shall experience an earthquake. And I so prophesy this day. Because God has been good to us, because we have been good to the Haitians. They wake for us, and we look outside and say, Daddy, you've been waking all day. We ain't see you with no breakfast. So we go into the house, and we cook his breakfast. And Daddy give us a good day's work. You hear me? We've always had a wonderful relation. And we've been blessed, notwithstanding all of the hardship. And the Haitians are our people. And I want you all to love them. Those who love the Haitian people will be blessed. And those who curse unjustly the Haitian people will be cursed. And what is life if there are no strangers within the gate? I told a fellow the other day, I said, listen, stop carrying on. I love to see Chinese people. Can you imagine me living on this earth and I don't see Chinese people? Because I ain't going to China. It's too far. I like to see Indian people. Can you imagine being on the earth and there's no Indian that I know? I love to see foreign white people. Can you imagine living on the earth and I don't see the various nationalities around the world? Now, if you say we can't bring all, I say no, we cannot bring all. But certainly, the Haitians has been with us over the last 200 years. You hear me? And they will go nowhere because hidden in each of us is Haitian blood. We don't know it, but hidden in us. Tout peuple moi yo haïtien. Aujourd'hui m'a pré bonde pour nous. M'a demandé bonde. Bonde papa bonde. Béni tout peuple moi yo haïtien. Amen. It is my prayer, and I ask Father God to bless the Haitian people and their descendants. That is my prayer. That is my prayer. That God will bless another African tribe. A tribe of people who are part of my ancestry. For I am of African descent. And it is my duty to love all mankind. And it is my duty to love people of the African race. And for the last 200 and something years, Haiti has suffered. And we have a duty to be sympathetic and to be loving and to help. And those who were born here, we have a duty to protect them and to show them how to apply for citizenship and not make it complicated for them. The quicker we regulate this situation, the better it will be for all of us. That is my hope. That is my prayer. And it is my hope that the FNM government would see the wisdom in just ending this case and giving John Ronnie John Charles his citizenship. This is Freedom March. Bradley Roll is my spiritual advisor. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back after the break. Papa moi, Haïtien, paix moi yo, Haïtien.
Do you have something to say to the senator? Call Freedom March at 323-7775. Toll free from anywhere in the Bahamas at 242-300-0045. Freedom March with Rodney Monker, only on ILTV. Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live on ILTV studios here in Nassau, Bahamas. My name is Rodney Monker. Bradley Roll is my spiritual advisor. We're going to read text, Brother Roll.
Yes, and I know you did tell me that tomorrow. And
Yes.
promise me, because I need to look at this intently.
My spiritual advisor,
Listen.
read the text.
Yes, but we have to look at Section 2, Article 7 of the Constitution.
Okay,
That's
tomorrow.
very important.
Tomorrow.
In this argument with this young man, John
Because
Charles.
tomorrow I expect noted attorney Fred Smith.
He's going to be here?
Fred Smith, est-ce que ou songe ou promise pour venir dimanche j'avais.
Yeah, we need to
Ma
look at
best
this.
friend nous pour venir parce que ma content ou gain liberté pour John Charles. Fred Smith, you promised me you're coming tomorrow. Please, man, I have it open for you tomorrow. I'm so happy that John Charles, you got freedom Puli for him. My spiritual advisor, you have text?
We're going to have to fix our immigration laws for sure. Definitely.
Tomorrow, we will discuss that.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the meantime,
yeah, we got some text, quite a bit of text.
go ahead.
All right, here we go. Good day, Mr. Monker. Please ask the studio to upload the past shows to YouTube and to Facebook. No show has been uploaded to YouTube for the year. It's
You hear
ridiculous.
what the people them are saying, Mr. Producer? You have not uploaded anything,
shows
any show.
for the year.
Okay?
All right, that's one text. Good afternoon, Mr. Monker. Need to stop. Sorry, good afternoon, Mr. Monker. You need to stop it. Your audience is getting tired. You're talking so bad about the F&M. You're always talking negative. How can we build a country like this, Mr. Monker? Every time the country is trying to build, you're trying to tear down the Free National Movement. All right? Let's talk about building Grand Bahama. Can we talk about that, Mr. Monker? That's one text. Here we go. I have no Haitian blood, only Scottish and Barbadian. I don't hate the Haitian people, only their bigoted ways. Why don't you and all of us move to Haiti? The Bahamas are getting too small for all of them. We should all migrate to Haiti and build it up. The Haitians denying their homeland by running away from it. Oh, so let the Bahamians run to Haiti. I like you, but you're out of line sometimes, Mr. Monker.
Spiritual advisor, please tell Monker that the Bible say that we are to respect the laws of the land. So stop enabling the Haitians and keep Jesus' holy name out of his mouth until he gets saved.
That's you, right?
Put the camera on the spiritual advisor. I have to take this call.
Please say good afternoon to my daughter, Giovanna Styles.
Hello.
At Bama. Giovanna, mommy loves you.
Yes.
Here's the next text right here. Today is Bob
Yes.
Marley's birthday. He was 36 when he died. He would have been 73 today. All right. Bob Marley's birthday. There we go. Good afternoon, Mr. Monker and Spiritual Advisor. Last time they said, trust them. Now, this time, they're saying it's the people's time.
live on TV.
I promise it's really a comfort
Call
to
me back at
a fool.
6.
All right. Here we go. Good afternoon, Mr. Monker. The Bahamas is going to be turned against God's laws. Can you confirm this item? This has been circulating since last year. If this is the case, look
Wait,
at the
let's take a
signatures.
phone call. Hello, welcome to Freedom March.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How you doing, sir?
I'm
I
fine.
just was telling you guys about Soil Toy Life. It's a new program we started with agriculture. We did a song, so just to give a shout out to the Bahamian public that we're trying to do some new initiative to rebrand farming in a way for young people to get more involved. So it's just to let them know that we have machinery we're trying to use to like tractors and technology to show them that hey, farming is still cool and we make it fun so we can start getting to feed ourselves so we can at least have some more money is when we go to the food store you spend less.
So who's we? Who's we again now?
The Ministry of Agriculture.
Okay.
Yeah, so
You think you could get the minister to come on the show to explain this to me?
yeah, I mean he really stopped the imports of like tomatoes and sweet pepper.
Yeah, we
He
saw
made an
that.
initiative, but he just will make sure that when we do come out, we come out strong.
And do we have an abundance of tomatoes?
Yes, sir. I mean, Bamsey is doing an excellent job, and then some farmers, Carlpen and Farming Islands, they already was doing pretty good with producing on a large scale, but just wasn't noticed.
Okay. One more thing.
Yes, sir.
I'm looking for some guinea corn.
Oh, that's nice. I mean, Sinclair.
Do you know where I can
has a
find me some
variety.
guinea
Yes, sir.
corn?
Sinclair?
Who's Sinclair?
You know, the one by Down Dairy Farm?
On Coppin Road?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
He sells guinea corn?
Yes, sir. And then he has like, he's supposed to be getting some other animals down there look nice now.
Okay.
I mean, he was a little affected by the hurricane, but thank God that he was able to strive and do some improvement.
Okay.
Now, I just want to be clear this. You're suggesting to me that he sell guinea corn.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not looking for guinea corn grits or flour. I'm looking for the corn.
Yeah, the corn, he has corn growing on the farm as well.
Okay.
They do roast corn and stuff as well.
You know
He
how
has,
guinea
like,
corn
a
look?
sugar cane machine. You get
Describe
sugar cane
guinea
to-
corn to me.
Sorry?
Describe guinea corn to me.
The guinea corn is the corn that we grow here at NASA, right? That's the ones with the long stalk, where there's the white top on the top, right? And that also like a wheat type of greeny on top and side. Like you see with like the ones that we grow here, that have like the white hair that comes off it. And they kind of, I mean, they're for 3 inches or 4 inches long, and they have a yellow. But it's not like the sweet corn that we have in Mexico, but like the regular hard corn that we give to the animals. That's why I remember it's guinea corn.
Okay. You didn't.
We have like the white hair. that
You
grows
didn't
on top, right?
describe it to me. I want you to go to the man place, ask him if he has guinea corn, and you call me back because I'm looking for some guinea corn, and I've been
Okay.
looking for the last 20 years.
Wow. Well,
All right.
I'll ask them. That's all.
Ask him, do you have guinea corn? What you described to me didn't sound like guinea corn, okay?
Yeah, that's what I say, if I remember, but I'll ask them to be more unclear.
Okay then. You take good care. I'm happy with what you're doing, and if you run into the Minister of Agriculture, tell him I'd like to discuss farming with him, okay?
So, you'll love to.
Okay. Take good care.
So, how you doing, man?
Okay. It's good to see people are interested in agriculture. What do we have here, my spiritual
Good evening,
advisor?
Mr. Monka. Mr. Monka, Good evening, spiritual advisor. If Mr. Monka doesn't stop encouraging illegals in this country, he's going to instigate an uprising. I'm sure. This is not what Sabas envisioned when he invited him to be on his TV. He's now threatening and encouraging with witchcraft. Spiritual advisor, be careful. Don't let Mr. Monka cause you lose your one soul. Illegals can't go anywhere else in the world and act so presumptuous.
I'm not encouraging witchcraft. You stop that, okay? There will be no uprising in the country as long as the law is applied fairly. We have thousands of people in this country who were born in the country. You need one united nation. You hear me? Take it from me. We will either assimilate them or you will have problems. All right? So stop being foolish. Let's bring these people out of the bushes and let us give them status. All right? Those who are entitled to citizenship, we give it to them. Those who have been living in the country for many, many years, you can give them permanent residence. All right? Go ahead.
Mr. Monka, can you please stop talking about the former prime minister? After all, he is the one that ran the country into billions of dollars in debt.
That's a lie.
Fixing the roads and so
That's
on
a
and so
lie.
forth. So let the man go home and let him rest, please.
Stop lying on Papa. That's what we got here. Menace will deport you, Rodney, back to Haiti, your country. The problem in Menace cannot deport me because I was born in the Bahamas and my papers are straight. All right? Go ahead.
Let's see. Say please thank the Honorable Perry Christie for his vision for Bamsey. I guess they're referring to the previous caller.
Okay.
Senator, you have to give up on your... Senator, have you given up on your stop of the legalization of marijuana? There's very interesting letter in the Guardian today. Have you seen it?
Listen, I don't care what they say. I am old enough to know that marijuana was the gateway drugs. And in my lifetime, they migrated LSD, quaaludes, cocaine, and a whole generation got based out and wiped out. I ain't listening to them. I live in the inner city. And I know the devastation that took place. Okay? Go ahead.
Mr. Monica, the Haitians that come here now, they're not the ones that came here when we were kids. The ones that come here now, they're coming to try and take us over. When you're in Rome, you act like the Romans do.
Man, stop talking nonsense. Every prime minister we've had, with the exception of Pindling, whose father was Jamaican. All right? Hubert Ingram, Haitian. Perry Christie, Haitian. Dr. Menace, Haitian. All right? So, what you talking about? You will always have a Haitian prime minister. Go ahead.
Mr. Monica, the Seminoles have some guinea corn and Roxanne.
Really? Listen. Buy me some and please send it. I want to grow some guinea corn. I can't find any. To the woman them in Roxanne, get me some guinea corn, send it to me. I want to grow some. This is powerful.
Mr. Monica, you're very irresponsible and wishing harm on this country. Whoever talks about earthquake coming here.
Do you know that in Crooked Island, those who were born at Crooked Island will tell you that Crooked Island shakes. You hear me? And 300 years ago, we suffered a major earthquake in the Bahamas. Go ahead.
Mr. Monica, why don't you get it? The Attorney General is not checking for you. You don't make any sense to him. And you need to tell your Haitian friends to stay home and stop trying to come to the Bahamas in illegal fashion.
Good morning, Senator. I have been trying to call you this morning. I'm going to a certain place, and I will...
Okay.
No, we're not going to read that one. Go ahead.
Mr. Senator.
Would you please give out the WhatsApp number?
WhatsApp number is 357-7469. 357-7469. Go ahead. You got something to read?
Mr. Monka, Mr. Charles have more than the minister. Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Monica, it is true about the fish fry. It is dark, and more police need to go there and patrol.
Right.
The fry is like some of the family islands with a handful of people and only about 5 police. So the fry only have 4 police, sometimes 2 in the morning, 4 sometimes in the evening for 10 minutes. Tell those police officers they need to patrol more often.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's
Hello, welcome to Freedom March. Hello.
Hey, Uncle. I was trying to reach him. I know you told me to call you back, but I checked online on the guinea corn. I don't think he have that one. This one is more, has a lot of medicinal properties as well. That's pretty good. The guinea corn.
Yeah, but he
Yeah,
does
but
not have...
When you're ready to start growing some of them, like we have the machines to help to do it on large scale.
You're talking about grinding.
No, I mean like when you grow it, when you start to cultivate the guinea corn.
Yeah.
I don't know if you do it in a backyard, but you could use the tractors, whatever, to distill on and make your beds and stuff for you.
You think I could get the tractor in the back of my yard?
I mean, once one operators go and check, they'll
Okay.
make the determination if it could be done.
Okay.
Yeah, so. But I
Okay.
can't wait for you guys to start growing stuff because you could do your talk show and then have your guinea corn growing.
This is
We can
powerful.
call you Master Guinea Corn.
Wow. Okay, my brother.
So with the spiritual advisor, you got to grow with you too.
All right, no problem. That's fine.
Would you plan on growing spiritual advisor?
Huh?
Would you plan on growing?
How about some pumpkin?
All right, that's good, man. The pumpkin
good?
and guinea corn, man. All right.
Well, as you talk about it, it reminded me of a woman who had a lawyer write somebody accusing them of throwing monkey tamarind seed. Anyway, you take good care. Thanks a
How you
lot.
doing, man?
All right.
Yeah.
Read text, my spiritual advisor. Read text.
Mr. Monica, Fred and John Ronnie may go back to Haiti, and Haitian people can't even listen to your show anymore. They will also deport. Leave that.
Would
alone.
y'all please stop this anti-Haitian?
Yeah, let's leave that.
All of you Negroes have Haitian blood. All right? Y'all stop it. The Haitian are our people. Simple as that. And notwithstanding their presence in our country for the last 200 and something years, we've had a reasonable life. And I submit that God bless the Bahamas because we treated the strangers, and I talking about all strangers, good. Let us continue to love the Haitian people. Simple as that. They are people. Go ahead, my spiritual advisor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Montgomery. Thank you so much for your education. You're educating us about the law. Thanks for sharing it with us. Freedom March is on the move.
We thank you for those comments. Please tell the PM or Mr. Cartwright to pay the people them. Payday is at the end of the month, not in the new month for the old month. Listen, what is the name of Cartwright?
Shannon?
The Honorable Shenandoah Cartwright. I want you to please pay the workers. The Bible teaches us that after people have worked, you pay them. Okay?
They're working on that, man.
And I don't care where you get the money from.
They're
If you
working
get
on
it
it.
from your minister, from your uncle, the Minister of National Security, or your auntie. What is auntie name? Candia. Talking about Candia Dames, I have discovered the Candia Dames' old boyfriend, his brother, is causing a lot of problem. I'm going to send Candia an email to tell Candia that she is going to have to talk to this guy because he is creating a lot of problems. And I did not recognize the closeness. Candia, you have to talk to him. Okay? Go ahead, my spiritual advisor.
Let's see.
Come on, what happens to text? Goodness me.
Yeah, okay, no, I can't read that one.
I would like to wish my daughter, Lethera Davis, from her mother, Dolores Davis. She is one of the women down from number 23 Cambridge Street. Okay, we remember that.
Ms. Monica, the people at the Marsh Harbor Hospital have not been paid. Could you please ask the government to pay us, please?
Goodness of mercy. Dr. Dwayne Sands, I need to see you because I'm not feeling well. But for heaven's sake, when you can pay the people at the Marsh Harbor Hospital? They haven't been paid? What minister them doing, man? Pay the people them. What time is it?
It's the people's time.
What time is it?
It's the people's time, man.
All right.
You know that. Mr. Monica, what happens to Jean Charles after his permit to be in the Bahamas expires within the 12 months?
How you mean, what?
Is he going to be given citizenship?
The court would have made a determination before the 12 months expires. All right? So, I have no doubt that justice will prevail. And if Minis believes in humanitarianism, he would end this foolishness and the cabinet would grant citizenship to John Ronnie John Charles. He's not a criminal. And he's entitled to get his citizenship. Go ahead.
I think that's all the text for the
There's no
day.
more text?
There's no...
Really?
more. Well, listen. Hello, Mr. Monica. How are you? Mr. Monica, have you guessed what's happening yet? The court order for Jean Ronnie will protect Frankie Campbell affidavit.
That is not true. Let me straighten that.
How do they get this foolish? Where they get this
Listen to
stuff
me. John Ronnie, John Charles, has a birth certificate. The Minister of Transport, the Honorable Frankie Campbell cannot produce a birth certificate. His affidavit, I sat down at breakfast with the former Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Hubert Alexander Ingram. Mr. Ingram categorically told me that Frankie's affidavit is fraudulent. I'm going to tell you something about Hubert Ingram. From I know him, he's never told me a lie. If I ask him a question and he doesn't wish to answer, you say, right up, Monica, I'm not going to answer you, and I leave him alone because Papa will cuss and carry on. But he's always been frank with me. That is why, even now that he is not in office, I check for him. He and I always had a good relationship. We've clashed politically. I organized the straw market against Ingram and had all them vendors marching up and down in the 90s against him. But whenever I call him, he always answers the phone. And I'll tell you why. I don't beg him. I don't ask him for contract or nothing. The only time I beg him if I'm sick. If I'm sick and they won't give me a bunch of problems, I'll call him and say, listen, Papa, I'm sick and they're giving me problems. He will then tell me, go to Green Slade. There was one man named Green Slade at the hospital. Tell Green Slade I send you. And when I get there, they take good care of me. Now, why did I used to do that? Well, certainly, I got to protect my life, eh? So, if I have to use political influence to get some medicine, I'll do it. It's like I'm feeling sick. I need to see Dr. Dwayne Sands. And I intend to see Dr. Dwayne Sands if I have to have breakfast with Hubert Ingram, who got his personal phone, and say, Papa, would you please call Dr. Dwayne Sands for me? Because I have a right to protect my life. All right? Go ahead.
Mr. Monica, Mr. Shannon E. Cartwright continues to amaze his constituents. Residents report that Mr. Cartwright visited the residents of Bimini Avenue last, on his bicycle, of course, after 8 p.m. last night to spend some time and hear the concerns of the people's source.
What he does. I want him to pay the workers.
Let's hear the compliment,
right?
man. What's wrong with
Tomorrow
you?
we're going to compliment him.
You think the money's coming out of his pocket?
I don't care where he get the money from as long as he gets it
Yes,
lawfully.
he's running a government agency that has to be funded by the Treasury.
And one more thing, I have to say this quickly. I promised the Negro
We're
man.
trying to big up Mr. Cartwright.
I'm going to let you big him up. Just hold on a second. Travis' assistant, Precious. Precious, I had a Negro man who's 61 years old. He lived through Anderson Street. His complaint is that the government them was cleaning up through Anderson Street, and he doesn't know why. Y'all jumped their yard and didn't clean up. So I call upon Travis and the Negro male called Precious to return to Anderson Street and please clean up the people them yard. The man came looking for me to complain, and I promise him that before the show is out, I will say it. Anderson Street. I think he said it is house number 11. All right? So please return the government workers and clear up in the front of the man yard. In fact, the man want me to come see. I told him I'll see if I could pass there tomorrow. You see the work I have to do? They even want me to come and see how y'all ain't clean up their yard. And this man is qualified. What is his qualification? He lives in the Bainstown and Grandstown constituency. And he is a Negro citizen. He's one of the people there. And Dr. Minnis promised it's the people's time. Now, when you're going clean up, please don't take the stuff to the city dump because it will cause another fire. And you all will smoke out Bahama. So let's organize, take the rubbish to a secure spot, and let us badge it and take it to the west of Ragged Island. Go ahead, my spiritual advisor.
Okay, Mr. Shannon E. Cartwright continues to amaze his constituents. Residents report that Mr. Cartwright visited the residents of Bimini Avenue last night on his bicycle after 8 to spend some time and hear the concerns of the people's Sources say he even sat on the porch and ate cane with the residents. He noticed some derelict cars and promised that they would be moved. Residents thought that they would not be moved at all. To their pleasant surprise, early this morning they woke up to the sounds of cars being removed from bushes and the roadside. Residents said they didn't expect it to be done quickly. Shandon E. Cartwright is a real deal, a leader, humble, a man for the people, a man of action. He's serving the people. The constituents of St. Barnabas and Bahamians are taking note of what people see in a natural-born leader such as Shandon E. Cartwright. You have made the right choice in selecting him as your member of parliament. That sounds great, Mr. Monker. We must congratulate Mr. Shandon E. Cartwright for a job well done in the constituency in which you reside.
Well,
The constituency of St. Barnabas. Well done, Shandon. Great job.
we shall see whether or not he could find the people their money.
The government has to find the money.
All right? Okay?
The government has to find the funding for beaches and parks, and I spoke with him today. They're working on that.
Okay, my spiritual advisor.
They're working on it.
Folks, there was a murder that took place. I didn't have an opportunity to deal with that incident in which a Negro male confronted at the corner of East Street, and I think it might have been Broome Street. He refused to release his car to the robbers, and they fired a shot, and he ended up at the Sudden Police Station. They called ambulance, but he subsequently died. And then I got a shock when a Negro relative of mine revealed his identity to me, and I know the man. I mean, it's just amazing. We can talk about that tomorrow. It's like if the people who are being murdered, I know, and the people who are getting themselves and accused of murder, I'm discovering I know them as well. Lord Jesus, have mercy on us. Tomorrow, we talk about the crime and other issues. This is Freedom March. Take good care. Be safe.
The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by Rodney Monker, his guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2017. All rights are reserved.